might have noticed another character in the background. Yes, that means we are officially doing three-rotor stuff, you guys. Mike Vargas just showed up last night, so while I was finishing up some bits on these cars, we also started working on the three-rotor, just going over and reviewing everything in prep for Dyno Day, which is today.
So I have it hooked up. I noticed a couple things. So over here in rev limit, it had fuel cut enabled. You don't want to have fuel cut on a rotary, just ignition cut by itself. Fuel cut causes the rotary to lean out. You don't want to try to control RPM by cutting fuel off because you'll blow it up. So I turned that off. Overboost is at 22. And the other problem right here is the injector settings are not set. When you, on the Adaptronic, when you search the injector itself, you actually have to set it. So you see, once you click it, I'll do the secondary so it turns on. But once you click set, it puts in the injector settings. A couple things are not like right. I mean, this dwell setting is like kind of 4.5 where it's supposed to be. If you read the coils, 4.5 dwell is the minimum. So it going down on RPM will cause an ignition breakup. So that's probably why I had an ignition breakup problem. So we have to fix the dwell also. Another huge problem we found, this thing is on firmware 1.0. So I'm pretty confident we can get this thing running right.
Before the dyno session, we have to go pick up a lot of E85. So while we have some time, Vargas is gonna take a look at the Sailor 7 RX7, which is just, she's a hot mess. I really wanted to get your first impression looking at this car and see like the horror in your eyes. Yeah. This car is trauma, but you know, we kind of love her. I think you wanted to do this. I did not want to look at this car because it needs a lot of work, and I want you to be in a good mood when you start tuning the three-rotor car.
I need to get warmed up, so I got warmed up with this one.
This one. What are your initial impressions?
Well, I was looking at the coolant hose with zip ties over here.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a problem.
We did FaceTime you when we were trying to turn it over, because basically in the last video that I filmed with this car, it was just dumping fuel. Leaking, just pouring it all out there. Took the rails off, checked the injectors, cleaned them. There was one that was pretty clogged, it had some paint in it. Cleaned it a bunch, put them back in, but it was still dumping fuel. I officially got banned from the other shop with this car because it was spitting out fuel and soot and exhaust fumes and just made the whole shop stinky for like 3 days. What are some reasons why it would dump fuel that aggressively?
On the wire harness, since it's stock harness.
True, so maybe like one of the injectors is just stuck open.
Yeah. So when I hook up the laptop, you can actually turn on these gauges that'll tell you if one's on or not. The other thing is like it's got an FD igniter, but the FC coils already have igniter, so I'm not sure why it's like eliminated. Oh boy, how many errors we got? 123,000.
I'm zooming. 123,000 errors. Is this one still the first like version of the firmware?
No, this one's more updated than the three-rotor.
Okay.
So this one at least has the injector setting set.
Okay. There might be hope.
Yeah. So injector 2 it's already like drawing amps, it's not even on. See, the rest are 0. That means that they're off, but this one's already opening.
Now we know it's most likely wiring related, which if you look at how all those are wired, it's not that surprising. Vargas is being very positive about this car. He thinks we can possibly be tuning this car as well. I'm gonna take off the upper, get to our injectors, and now we know that injector 2 is seeing power when it shouldn't. Injector 2 is the one that is most likely stuck open, so we're gonna just inspect the wiring, see if it's something we can fix really quick, rewire it, and hopefully fixing that fixes our problem. All right, we took everything off, and surprisingly, it was not the wiring, it's actually the injector. Injector 2 was just bad, it shorted out or something internally. They were stock ones, and now we're throwing on 1200cc injectors, and hopefully we should be good. Just from the car having power, this got so hot, it actually burned his hand. I've been wanting to get rid of these anyway for a while. You think it's gonna start just like that?
Yeah. So, before we had the 5 amps, and now if we go to diagnostics, you see your data, it's all at 0. So then injector's not stuck open anymore.
Awesome.
So as long as we got good spark plugs, it should start, and we just gotta adjust the fueling.
Forgot about that.
What happened?
I was like, why? I'm trying to give it down, so we forgot to put the throttle cable back on.
Alright.
But it started without even giving it throttle, it was starting to go. Yeah, she'll work.
Okay, tension.
You create that tension, Chris. You're good at that. So we don't have other spark plugs, or at least not ones I want to use on this car, so we're gonna try and deflood it the old-fashioned way. This should be interesting.
What's the best way to go to the dam collector?
Probably go around past my shop.
Okay.
Give it gas.
I told you this car is my demon child. All right, fuel off. How bad is it?
Bad.
Oof. Big sad. Wait. It's really hard to see the burn on camera. Wait. Damn. Yep. So that is going to be the injector
Driver, yeah.
Would you say all the other ones are bad too, or compromised now?
Yeah, so we just gotta send it out.
You wanted to get the demon child working so bad, but honestly, I feel 10 times better now that we have traced a problem. That car to me has just been this giant mystery of a black hole of problems and issues, and now we at least
We've been dealing with
have a direction.
wiring issues that cause the computer to fail.
Man, that's crazy. Well, I've been wanting to get wiring sorted on that car for a long time, and now I'm gonna have to.
This harness needs rotary Jesus because it's got butt connectors everywhere, so I can see why it has a short.
All right, here's our main focus for the day, the three-rotor RX7. This is gonna be my first time using the dyno that we have here at the compound, which is so sick. We're gonna put it on the hub dyno, and then I can go test drivability even more around the layout of the compound. We already were here last night, kind of going through the car, having him take a look at everything, and already made a bunch of changes to the ECU settings. I am really glad that we were able to review and just go through the current tune and map and what everything looks like last night, because we did find a lot of things that were off. Dwell was set really, really low, and fuel also leaned out at high boost, which might have been done because of our boost creep issue before and our breakup issue at high RPM before. So maybe it was super rich before, so we're trying to compensate fueling and lean it out up top. But in general, that's kind of scarier side and not as safe. So he definitely went through the map, changed a bunch of stuff to make it safer, and he also changed the timing on it as well. We also found out that TPS wasn't perfectly set, so we got that dialed in as well, and the injectors that this car has were also never set in the computer. So we got all that dialed. Vargas went in there and set it up, and boom, she turns on even better now. And I need to show you guys the fab work that Cricket from Drift HQ actually finished up to make this day possible. So the last time you guys saw this car, there was a big gap right here. So our turbo is officially actually connected to the intercooler, ready to rock now. And we got our nice little wastegate dump following our exhaust right here. Now eventually I'm definitely gonna wanna probably reroute the exhaust underneath the car. I'm gonna have to use oval piping most likely because there's not a lot of room under there. But for now, we're gonna make some big rotary dragon flames. Back in the office. Those are really the only changes since the last time that you guys saw the car. Other than that, like I mentioned, Vargas just changed a bunch of stuff on the map, and it's officially dyno day. I've said this before, these days make me very nervous, especially this car. You guys know how much of a grueling process this whole thing has been and how many times I have rebuilt this car, but I really am seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here with Vargas, and I'm just so stoked to drive this thing. I decided to just run pump E85. I think that's gonna be easier too for when I'm traveling, and will be a lot more accessible. So Chris is making the fuel run right now. I should be back. Got a whole bunch of premix, so we should be set. And this will be the first official time that you guys have heard the car start with all the fabrication work done. Okay, even outside, it is so loud. It is just reverberating off the building. I'm actually going to get earplugs, which is sad. I've never in my life had to get earplugs near a car, especially when it's outside. But we're gonna have earplugs for everyone now that I have this car. I can't believe this is my car. Oh yeah. Alright, all I could find was my radio headset. It's so loud. We do not want to catch the building on fire. That is why the car is so far forward, because she's going to be spitting some 4 or 5 foot flames out of the exhaust. So that's why we're setting it up facing this way. Now I gotta take the wheels off, put these hubs on, and then these will bolt directly to here. And then we set it. Chemist, and he is testing this E85.
So as you can see, the separation between the ethanol of E85 and water is almost to the 85%.
Is buzzing. If it ain't crapping, it ain't happening. happening?
Once we start
What?
this,
Ew, yeah, no, you better leave that in the video because that was ugly.
Honestly, like that should stick. I'm kind of proud of myself.
If it ain't brapping, it ain't what?
Happening. You just went for it.
he's just dumb.
And I think we got it dialed now, so we're gonna do our first like proper. 408 at 4 pounds.
Yeah.
What? 4 pounds on that big turbo.
I was trying to make it richer,
Okay.
so it's not as lean now. So now we're gonna move up and boost.
Is this a rotary?
Yeah, it's a rotary.
What?
That was the spicy tune, so I'm gonna bring it back down
Oh my god.
I didn't do a full pull, I let off of it.
What
kinda-
boost did it hit? It sounded perfect, dude.
Like 12 pounds is at 561. We're just gonna turn it up like probably 2 more psi and that should be it for the night.
All right, so it is super late. We only got one more pull that we were allowed to do because we don't want to make all the neighbors completely hate us, but I'm super happy with the torque curve that's going on right now. I'm getting more and more excited to actually be drifting this thing. A lot of my big worries with this setup that is currently on the car without nitrous was turbo lag and just the torque curve being rotary, but right now that is looking great. Final pull of the night. Maybe we'll sneak another one in if you can somehow, you know, be quiet
We're definitely doing
about it.
So on the higher boost it did 600 torque, but that was, you know, obviously like 22 pounds.
It was 600 and then less horsepower.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yes. Now we're playing.
I'm excited because it is a nice setup. Everything worked on the car, and it has taken a long time to get to this point, but
It has. It's been probably rebuilt about 3 different times. Finally, I'm kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel now that you're here.
right now 14 pounds is really nothing on a 20B, especially on the E85. That's like pump gas power. I'm gonna leave it at that, break it in, make sure everything's good, no big problems, and then we can go for the high power so you can do those big banks.
Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready. Thank you.
She did good though.
Thank you so much.